So it's been a while since I did a video or review here on the channel, and I really want to talk about Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake that is on all platforms right now. Not currently on the Switch 2, but it's on PC, PlayStation, Xbox. I played the PC version. I just want to give my quick thoughts on the game as a massive Metal Gear fan. I just really was looking forward to this game and want to give my thoughts on it. So if you guys are new to the channel, please do me a favor, smash that like and subscribe button. So I did pick up this game day one. It's one of those rare occasions where I pick up a new release game on day one. I don't really do that anymore. That's one reason why there hasn't been a lot of content on the channel, because the video game industry has become so expensive that I can't really justify putting more of my money into this hobby. I love gaming. I love this hobby, but I cannot justify $70 to $80 games. I can't justify $600 to $700 hardware. Like it's too expensive. Gaming used to be a great, fun hobby to release some stress after a hard day's work on the weekend, something like that. But now the hobby has just gotten so expensive that really I spend most of my time playing games that no one on this channel cares about. Like I'll go back and play stuff in the PS3, Xbox 360 generation or PS2 generation. Like I've been playing a lot of older games, but with Metal Gear Solid Delta, I made an exception because of being a massive fan of this franchise. I've played every Metal Gear countless amount of times, just over and over and over again. And I'm talking about Metal Gear for the MSX, Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake on the MSX, Metal Gear on the Nintendo, Snake's Revenge on the Nintendo. I played all these games. I am a massive, massive fan of Metal Gear, and I was really looking forward to this because I want to see Konami do what Capcom is doing, where they're taking their great games and they're remaking them. Does Metal Gear Solid Delta live up to what Capcom does? Yes and no. The thing is, with Capcom, when they went back and redid when Capcom went back and redid Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil 4 now, they remade those games from the ground up. It was a complete remake from the ground up, and they added different elements into the game. Metal Gear Solid Delta kind of does that, but not really. For the most part, all the cutscenes that you love, everything that you loved in Metal Gear Solid 3 on the PlayStation 2 or whatever console you played it on, because the game has been remastered for almost every generation, it's still that game. It just looks prettier and plays better. The control scheme, like you can choose, do you want to go with the newer control style where it's more like, third person type, look like we're accustomed to in modern gaming? Or do you want to go with that up down, like up top facing down camera style that was the original game? You have the option to choose that. I still have not went back and played the old style with the new graphics. I want to do that, but I played through the game as the remake intended with the legacy filters on and everything, and it looks absolutely beautiful. But at the end of the day, it's still that same game that I played, 20 years ago at this point? Over 20 years ago? It's still that game, and there's nothing wrong with that. I love that game. So I really did not want them going in and meddling things up. Just give me that game, remake it, and make it beautiful the way it should be in modern day. So, in a sense, they did the remake treatment that Capcom does, but they went back and they didn't really alter anything. And as a diehard Metal Gear fan, I didn't want them to change much because the game was already perfect. You can't make it even more perfect. And I know that for some reason, if they change something and fans didn't like it, then that's just going to open a floodgate of, they should have never messed with it. They should have just left it alone. So I'm glad they just kept it the way it is. And I believe the rumor is that it was sold over like 1 million copies in one day, which is great if that's true. So I want to see them continue on. Now the next question is, where do they go from here? Do they remake Peace Walker now? What the funny thing about this game is, after I played it, I jumped on my Xbox One and played through Peace Walker, because Peace Walker was remastered on the PS3 and Xbox 360. backwards compatible on the Xbox, so I've been playing it on the Xbox. And then I reinstalled Phantom Pain, which is my least favorite Metal Gear game for several reasons that I won't get into in this video. But where do they go from here? Obviously, Phantom Pain doesn't need to be remade unless they want to do it and add David Hayter's voice. Then I'm all for that one. Go ahead, do a patch for that or whatever you want to do. But do they jump into Peace Walker next? Do they jump into Metal Gear Solid 1 next? Metal Gear Solid 2? Obviously, we have the Legacy Collection Volume 2 coming out at some point, which is going to have Metal Gear Solid 4 and some of these other games that we really want. So what do they do now? A lot of people want them to go do Metal Gear Solid 1. Me personally, I think, like, let's tackle the MSX games. Because the MSX games are very, very important. I'm talking about Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. A lot of people have not played those games. Even people that call themselves Metal Gear fans never played Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake on the MSX. Those games are fantastic. You could remaster both, remake completely from the ground up in this style of graphics, both those games in one game, and you just call it Metal Gear. Metal Gear. You can call it Metal Gear, whatever you want to call it. Just call it Metal Gear, and you can have the first game, because it's pretty short, just go save Gray Fox and then destroy Metal Gear. You go finish that game, and that could be like the Virtuous mission. That could be like the first 2 hours, sort of like the Ground Zeroes or the Tanker chapter or the Virtual mission in Metal Gear. That first game could all take place in the first 2 hours of the game. Then the main majority of the game could be Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, which is the second game on the MSX. That's what I would like. Then they can move on to, because that's a huge chunk of story that we never got. But a lot of people want to see Metal Gear Solid Remake, and obviously so, because a lot of people, that was their first game. That was my first game. I went back and played the MSX games later. But let's get back to Snake Eater and my overall thoughts of the game. Beautiful, plays well, everything I wanted. The real thing that everybody is hounding on is the performance issues. The performance issues, and apparently it plays really bad on the PlayStation Pro. I don't know that for sure because I did not play it on a console. I played it on my PC with Steam. So I played it at 1440p, 60 frames per second with native. I didn't use any DLSS at first. And I was getting really bad frame rates. I'm not even gonna lie. And I have a pretty good rig. It ain't like I have like some cheap Walmart rig, and nothing against that type of rig. If that's what you got, I mean, you could do a lot of stuff. The Walmart rigs are really good, but this was a custom build rig that I have. I have the current i9 processor in there, as well as a 4070 Ti Super. It should have been able to run this game like a champ, and the performance with Unreal Engine 5 just wasn't good. I was getting massive frame rate dips as I was playing this game. So eventually I did put on DLSS and I put on performance mode, and I ended up going up from 40 frames per second to 55 frames per second, which is still not ideal because this game should easily be able to run at 90 plus frames per second. But I will say this, I don't think that this is a massive red flag that a lot of people online are saying it is, right? A lot of people look at Digital Foundry as like the gospel of gaming. And I look at stuff like, the frame rate isn't what I want, but is the game good enough for me to overcome those little hiccups? The game was. Like, I am 1.5 playthroughs in this game. I beat the game, started up another playthrough, and I'm halfway through that playthrough. I love this game. I loved this game years ago on the PS2. I love this game on the PS3 360. I love this game on the PS4 and Xbox One. I love this game in 2025. I love this game, and I am willing to overlook some of the hiccups that has. A great example of that is you look at Nintendo and the Nintendo Switch 1, right? Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, arguably some of the best games of all time. Only played at 30 frames per second on the Switch. Was that necessarily ideal? No, but I played it because they're awesome games. Same thing goes with this. This is an awesome game. Can I acknowledge that there's some performance issues, some frame rate problems? Absolutely. I can look objectively and say, yes, there are some performance issues. Was it enough to ruin my experience? I think that in today's modern gaming, we are so hyper focused on frames and resolution and all these little details that does not matter. Does this character have freckles? Does this character blush? Can you see the translucent veins in her skin or their skin? Does the grass move when the wind blows? I think we are so hyper focused on aesthetics that we are not, and frame rate is not aesthetics, it's performance, but you know where I'm getting at. Like, everything has to be ultra realistic, everything has to move and be interactive and everything. We are so focused on those little things that we get away from the most important thing: is the game fun? Was Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild fun? Yes. Did it run at 30 frames per second? Yes. Did I care? Absolutely not. Is there problems with the performance in this game? Yes. Did I care? Absolutely not. I had fun with the game. Now, does that excuse the bad performance? Absolutely not. Keyword today, absolutely not. It does not excuse the performance. But at the same time, it's not that big of a detriment to me as a gamer who was looking forward to this game. Luckily, I didn't pay full price for this game. Being a PC owner, you know where you can go on the web and you can get things cheaper. I got it for $52. So I saved a pretty decent amount of money on this game. Still had a lot of fun with it. It was absolutely just a phenomenal time. I had great with it. I felt like it was a remake, next-gen version of this game. Is there performance problems? Yes. Will that bother some people? Maybe. Did it bother me? No. Just like when the Legacy Collection came to Nintendo Switch and people were complaining about certain frame rates and stuff on the Switch, was that a point that turned me away from it? Absolutely not. I picked it up, played on the Switch, and enjoyed it on the Nintendo Switch. Sometimes people make too much about nothing, right? Now, if you bought like an $800 PS5, obviously you want everything to run perfect because you spent so much money on it. Same thing with my PC. But there are certain games, and people might not want to hear this, there are certain games that if you're looking forward to, you would look past those things. I played Jedi Survivor on the PS5 on release day. Horrible performance on that game. I liked the game so much that I overlooked some of that stuff. I still talked about it in my review, just like I'm talking about this now, but there are certain games that you can overlook because you're having so much fun playing. And hopefully there's a patch coming down the line. So would I recommend Metal Gear Solid Delta? I 100% would absolutely recommend this game for anybody. I don't care if you have Xbox, PlayStation, PC. A phenomenal game is a phenomenal game. To this day, Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, whether you want to call it Metal Gear Solid 3, Metal Gear Delta, whatever, this game is a masterpiece in every sense of the word. Every sense of the word, this game still holds up today. It's phenomenal. It's a masterpiece, and I highly recommend you pick it up. That's just my thoughts. Again, I want to know what you guys think. Leave your comments in the comment box below. If you guys can go ahead and do me a favor, smash that like and subscribe button, I would appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you guys next time. Later.